Now, I actually like this movie. I think I'm one of the very few who do. The name, like Joker 2, Folie or Deux, which means shared delusion in French, isn't that great? I mean, shared delusion in French. Maybe I too have a shared delusion against everybody else who hates this film. Let's get into this as to why I specifically like this film. And as you might have guessed, this is not a Harley Quinn costume, but it's the closest I found, and I very much enjoy Harley, and I loved this version of her. Okay, we're gonna get into it. Okay. Oh, this is a spoiler-free, shorter review. I'll be doing a longer breakdown, where it gets really into the narrative more, as a separate video. But this one you can watch as a little breeze as to why I just enjoyed it and liked it, and it's not gonna spoil anything for you. I hope. Okay, let's get into it. As I said, I actually enjoy this film, and I'm not actually sure why there's so much hate. I've seen online why people's reasonings are, and I've heard from my friends and my friends of friends why people don't seem to like the movie. But I think that what Todd Phillips managed to achieve in the first film does happen again in this one. But whereas the first film, it was very a film for the downtrodden, I would say. However, when Joker started to be sympathized with and glorified, I think Todd Phillips was like, guys, you're not meant to enjoy the Joker. You're not meant to be on his side. You're meant to not be on his side. He's a psychopathic killer. So I think that this film he tried to demonstrate as to why, at least into the mental health aspects of why you shouldn't be following the Joker. And I think that Todd Phillips here, where most people I think stop enjoying the film because it's a musical and it has maybe too much songs, I think if you listen to the songs, Todd Phillips has got two stories he's telling you all in one. So I think it's a really good exploration of a broken mind and a broken person within Arthur who has got no help from society that he's found himself living within this version of Gotham. I think Joaquin Phoenix plays once more a very tragic version of the Joker, and I think they explore his life after the events of the first film rather well when he's in Arkham Asylum. And here the abuse continues for Arthur in Arkham Asylum, and I felt the film did a very creative, somewhat arty way of exploring Arthur Fleck's mental health within the film. For example, that scene where the umbrellas and they're walking in the beginning of the film with the umbrellas and they're colourful to Arthur in his mind, but in reality they're just black umbrellas and it's raining. The film here, also good to note, explores dissociative disorders, and here we get multiple personality disorder, which they do touch on at the beginning within the cartoon opening of the two versions of the Joker, where it's kind of saying when Joker killed Murray Franklin, the TV host, it actually wasn't Arthur Fleck because this Joker personality had come out of from within inside him and displayed or taken over and become the main person. Or alter or whatever. I think they call them alters. So the main one Joker came out. So it wasn't Arthur Fleck, but instead the Joker, two very distinctive and individual personalities. At least that's what the film is trying to suggest here. Here, Phoenix continues to stretch out his acting muscles quite beautifully, being both Arthur Fleck, who is this very vulnerable person with a lot of mental health and who is in need of protecting, and then Phoenix does a great job at becoming this confident, almost cartoonish-like version of himself, the Protector, Joker, who is very charismatic and sarcastic and confident, whereas Arthur Fleck fails in all those areas of his life. Well, to be those things. Except for with Harley. I think Todd Phillips and Scott Silver actually do very well in making Arthur Fleck out to be once again sympathetic. I'm sure that's not their goal, I'm sure, but they've once again done it because how can you not sympathise with someone who's got such a bad life and is continuously downtrodden, and then when he's already down gets kicked literally by the guards in Arkham Asylum when he's down. I would say in the first film they created such a harrowing character who was deeply disturbed and victimized by life that you actually kind of couldn't help but to be on his side. And here I feel like Todd Phillips continues to do this, especially in the scenes with Brendan Gleeson, who you may know as Mad Eye Moody. Anyway, when Brendan Gleeson is on character as Jackie Sullivan, I think is his character's name, the police chief and the guards at Arkham Asylum, when he is continuing to beat dehumanize and potentially sexually abuse Arthur in one scene towards like the middle end of the film, where he kind of makes fun of the guards in Arkham whilst he's on trial, and he calls them all fat and lazy or something, and then they seem to take him off to the shower and abuse him. I think it's implied sexually here, because they kind of strip him down to nothing. So I think when you have all of this abuse continuing and all this degradation continuing for Arthur Fleck, I think how can you not root for him to become the Joker again? I certainly did when I was watching it. I was like, come on, Joker, when you're in Arkham, when it was just Arthur and he wasn't allowed to be Joker in the courtroom, I was thinking, come on, Arthur, just get out, be the Joker, be strong, be confident, kick some ass. However, is this, and I think this is where the film does well in questioning your own life choices. It asks you to look within, I think, yourself. Todd Phillips, I think he is asking you to do that, because whilst I'm sat here sympathising and wanting him to be Joker, to beat up the bad guys, well, the bad guys are not the guards of Arkham Asylum. They're meant to be the good people. They're the police. They're the chiefs. They're the good guys. Arthur's the one in jail for murder, and I think Todd Phillips does a great job of making you think, is this the punishment? Is this just? Is this what Arthur or Joker actually deserves for what he did in the first film? In real life, obviously, you would be sitting there going, yeah, killers maybe deserve not much sympathy if they've killed people, especially on a brutal level. But with this fictional character, I kind of want to see him rise up again and, take out the bad guys. So I thought that was really interesting to make you think this way. Okay, Harley Quinn time. Okay, so Lady Gaga, I just think, wow, if you didn't think she was good acting in maybe American Horror Story or the Gucci film or The Star is Born, maybe this one will let you think that she's a good actress, because I certainly think she's great. And I think, again, with Todd Phillips here, some people have said he doesn't seem to know how to write female characters, and Harley doesn't come off as believable. However, I still enjoyed this reimagination of Harley Quinn, as they call her Lee in this movie, although it is obviously Harley, and I think at one point her name, Harleen Quinzel, does get dropped by Arthur Fleck's lawyer, which was a great scene. We'll get into it in the breakdown, the longer one, but not so much here. I will say that as much as I enjoyed Harley, I just think she was a tad predictable. Obviously, Harley Quinn is one of my favourite comic book characters ever created, especially the older, more Harley Quinn red and black version. I think she's one of my favourites, and she always has been since I was a child. And so I've known about her being Harleen Quinzel, and Suicide Squad kind of has the same storyline where Harleen Quinzel meets the Joker, becomes kind of corrupted by him, and then has like a mad delusional love. Kind of Folie or Deux style, but not so much in this movie, which is interesting. However, as I say, it was predictable because I knew about Harleen Quinzel's backstory. So when it comes out that she's not actually in May at Arkham Asylum, I was just waiting for the reveal that she was Dr. Harleen Quinzel. And they did reveal it. And again, I do think it's a great scene, and we'll get into it, why I think it's great. But for the long and short of it, it's good because the music and the songs, the musicals in this movie, they're telling the story of Arthur and Harley's love. So when Arthur finds out about this, the songs go from happy and cheerful to not so happy and cheerful, and I think that's great. I don't know why people aren't seeing this. Also here, I think it was a good reveal that she's Harleen Quinzel, because it was a great part that played in this film's narrative about, is she or is she not in love with Arthur? Could she not be capable of love and loving Arthur? Because she certainly isn't capable of loving Arthur Fleck, but she does indeed, I think, fall for the Joker again. And here I think Harley is already a deeply disturbed person before she even encounters the Joker, which is again a little bit away from the comics, where normally she's Dr. Harleen Quinzel and then she gets corrupted, but here she is self-proclaiming to be an arsonist, and she is very much a damaged individual all on her own before she even meets Joker. And I think the fact that she's also damaged is why she is, as most of the people in this version of Gotham seem to be gravitating towards Arthur and who he is as when he's the Joker. But here, she is already a pathological liar from her first moments with the Joker, and she only loves the Joker, not Arthur, which the film does explore. Now let's get on to the musical numbers. Okay, so throughout the musical numbers, if you actually calm down and stop hating the film, or eye-rolling every time a song comes on that you don't want, if you actually pay attention to what they're actually saying in the film, through the use of the musicals, the songs are showing you not only a look into the characters' minds at the times that is appearing on screen, but also what state Joker and Harley's relationship's in. The songs explore moments of trust for the two have and don't have with each other. And I feel like this is great to do this narratively, and also I think it was great to see such a more gritty and darker, potentially mentally challenged version of Harley Quinn already before she gets corrupted, and I thought it was great to see. And on that note, the musical numbers I think were beautiful. The cinematography, the acting, the singing, I loved them. For example, with the narrative, like the two narratives going on at the same time. Yes, we have Arthur's trial, which is one large part of it, and Arthur in Arkham Asylum and this continued abuse. But the musical numbers exploring Harley and Joker's love, the shared delusion, Folie or Deux. But I thought the Bewitched number, the Bewitched song, that shows you Arthur is in love with Harley or who he thinks that Harley is. Because bear in mind, Harley's not honest about who she is as a person. So I think this shared delusion works two ways. Harley's got a shared delusion that she'll be in love with the Joker and be basically Bonnie and Clyde for Gotham and be this really powerful crime couple. And Arthur just wants a family and to return to some state of normality after all the years of abuse he's already endured. But the Bewitched song captures how Arthur is feeling about Harley and how he is in love with who he thinks she is. They also have a song called They Long to Be, and that's where Harley sings. So this is Lady Gaga singing. And this is Harley's love song for the Joker, not Arthur Fleck. And I think that's great. If you go back and listen to the songs on wherever you want to listen to them, Apple Music or Spotify, you can see the love songs. Just listen to them in order. There's a story within the songs and the musicals. That's your second narrative. Again, there's a song called If You Go Away. This song, this one's a sad one though. It's really heartbreaking. Harley is Arthur's only light in his life, which is what he's saying within this song. And for Arthur, what is life now without Harley or Lee? What is his life going to be looking like for him? And of course, we get both versions of Gonna Build a Mountain, which is, I think, the shared delusion, because they go on about this theme, build a mountain in the film, where for Harley it means, as I say, something completely different to Arthur. But the Gonna Build a Mountain song here, they show up the songs as a reprise for Arthur and the main one by Harley. So it shows you both sides of them building a mountain, aka a home, and how that looks extremely different for the two of them. And I don't know how you can't like this aspect. Yeah, you might not like singing and you might not like musicals, but you've got to give it to Todd Phillips. He might not be a director of musicals, and yeah, it might not have worked, the fact he shoved 50% singing, 50% dialogue in his film, especially since he'd never done anything musical before. But you got to give props where props are due, and he decided that he wants to tell this story and do it through dialogue, but also through musicals. Also, now let's get into other moments of the film which I think are good to point out in this spoiler-free review. Harvey Dent appears as the lawyer, which you will know obviously is Two-Face. Well, he becomes Two-Face, and he doesn't come Two-Face in this film. However, okay, I can't say it here. Something does happen at the end of the film, which I won't spoil, but it could potentially, if Todd Phillips was going to do any more films, it could have led into Two-Face entering this world that Todd Phillips made for the Batman universe. Well, the Batman Rogues universe. Here we also get a call back to the first film. We got some actors on the stand. Puddles comes back to testify on trial against who Arthur is or is not, and is also his neighbor. She comes back and she says a few harsh things to say about Arthur, which does make him snap. Again, I think Arthur takes so much abuse, especially from women, which is explored in the film, and it seems a trigger point for Arthur turning into the Joker. Whether you want to believe his multiple personality or not, because I think the film tries to disprove that he hasn't got multiple personality disorder and he's not actually, he is mentally ill, but he's not mentally ill in that way. I think they do a great job of showing how, for Arthur Fleck anyway, it's mainly his mother or other women tearing him down, which kind of makes him snap. But I'm not sure if that's a good message really, actually, to be given out there, especially to disgruntled younger males who watch the film. Overall, I really have to say I did love this film, and I think if you give it a chance, you might just too. However, I will say that it is very slow in parts, and it does become very held up near the end of the film as a TV courtroom trial drama, almost. There is definitely nods here to the comic book Mad Love and Batman's Harley Quinn, which was a 2009 one. I think that the film is also very serious and slow in parts, and there's a lot of discussion on mental health here too, as I've kind of gone into myself, but we'll go into it a lot more in the breakdown. I know I'm late to the party doing a review, but because if you haven't seen it yet, because maybe some people might still not have seen it, or maybe some people are still questioning whether they should go, and I might just let maybe that little voice for them that's like, do it, go see it, give it a chance. But I think that the pace of this film, in all honesty, does match the first one, first pace. Yeah, there was no music or songs in the first one, but the narrative pace, how it goes along, and how serious and slow and quite abusive it is, I would say, is very similar to the first film. But otherwise, go look at it, go check it out. Ugh. Go watch the film. It's good. Okay, bye. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this review. Bye.